Have you ever seen a roo kick? Have you ever seen an emu run under the bright Aussie skies and said this year will be the one? Oi, oi, oi! What does it mean to be a part of a footy team? It's more than a game. The footy's in our veins. It's time to go. It's a Northern Footy Show. Get out of our way. We wanna see them play.
Okay.
Boners, I think we're back.
Oh my God.
Can someone
I just
please give
posted-
us the thumbs up and
I just
tell us that
posted
you
it. It's
can hear
taken a
us
bit of problems.
and
so-
see us? Anyone thumbs up? Oh my Lord, talk about the end of the season before everything
It's
goes
like watching your
crap.
football career just crash.
My football career wasn't that good. It's saying we're connected. Has anyone got us? Daddy,
There we go. We're on.
Mate, we could not.
No wonder
get
Carlton
loads
can't
of
win
possible.
games. You can't even get the internet correct.
Let's try this one again. Sorry, guys. What a night for internet. Bonner said, do not move the modem, and I moved the modem. I swear to God.
Don't put brains in monuments.
It's not. Anyway, welcome to the Northern Footy Show. Oh, what a way to end. Thanks for joining us. I cannot believe 15 people hung around for that long.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Matt, Bonners, let's jump straight into it. Huge week in footy, mate. We've come back into the studio for a final one. There's no lack of Cooper's Pale Ale.
Always have to stay hydrated.
It's all about the hydration. Bonners, I didn't stay at the seniors yesterday. I had to go and do something. You did. I did watch it live, but walk me through the game.
Look, it was one of those games. Every single grand final has come down to goal kicking, and it was a game that should have been done. Honestly, I thought Montmorency were fantastic. I think through the midfield, you got your Holmes, Lentini. Though it was tagged early, Lentini went well. They kept moving the ball well, but just the juggernaut that is Heidelberg. I think they kicked 4-12 at one stage. So realistically, it could have been over at halftime. But can I just say, I know we talk about on-ballers every time, but this is a second final where Backman has just absolutely dominated.
Yeah.
And Danny DeBolfo was just impenetrable. Like Nicolo
it was
against
amazing.
Old Paradians. They just couldn't get it past him. And their game was chip, go long. He just intercept marked so many times. But they were just, and don't get me wrong, it was one of those games where you thought, Monty are a chance here, but you couldn't see them winning just because when they needed to, Heidelberg flicked the switch. They lost Braden Sear with a early, and he did try to come back to his credit. Yeah, but I
seen him grimacing on the feed.
Like Lockie, through the midfield, you got Dylan Clark. Signorella was just incredible all the way through. Solly going forward, they just had winners everywhere, and there just wasn't enough. I guess the class just raises above the thing. But don't get me wrong, the caged lion Vinny Detoli was circulating, and I could see visions of the past.
I did flip through to him a few times. Let me ask you, because you've been hell-bent this year on accuracy. You can't win without accuracy. Now, I think they ended up, was it 18 points or something?
19, I think they ended up.
So it didn't look good earlier. They got their skates on, but to be fair to them, and you're rarely fair to someone that's just won the premiership, but I reckon I've seen 6 balls in that goal square turn left. Oh, mate, they were googlies. Warney would have been proud.
I'll tell you what, the one that should have won him the game, it could have gone back, forward, or right. Yeah. It went left.
Yeah.
And it was just
crazy.
But look, they were a class above. Their back line was impenetrable. As I've said all through the year, I still can't believe people do not put time into Keenan Posser. Well, because
he's a star.
But just you let him run off half back, and
you won't catch him.
To be honest, though, I did see some of the greatest floaters come off his foot on the weekend, but they just had class everywhere. They did lose a few soldiers, and listening to 3/4 time address in the Monty huddle.
I've seen that.
Went in there and had a chat, and he was right. They were down soldiers. You could see Monty were getting the momentum. It was almost like they were 2 goals away from really cracking open the grand final.
Vinny spoke at 3/4 time. Sorry, that's the one that was online. Is that the one you meant?
No, I actually listened to
Monty.
Yeah, went
into
the
3/4 time speech, and I admire him, having only dealt with him this year first time, but he said we're down a couple of guys, and more or less this is where you stand up. So at the end of the game, do we want it or don't want it?
Yeah,
I'm happy living here, but he scares the shit out of me, to be honest with you.
Trust me, he doesn't scare me anywhere near as much as he did 20 years ago.
Yeah, he's amazing. And I've got to give a lot of credit to Montmorency as well. Look,
for sure.
There was a couple of things I loved about Monty, right? So let me tell you about Monty on the weekend. Lentini, absolute superstar, and his skills are immaculate, right? But Holmes, I've heard all year, and I've watched a little bit of him, that he goes for the ball, and that's it. That's all that matters. He does. Yeah. He's an animal. Yeah. And he's only a little pocket rocket, but good on him. We had him on the show earlier.
He reminds me a lot of actually one of their assistant coaches, Bomber.
Right.
I thought that when I was watching, it was like I was back watching Bomber play again. Yep. So, the same way through the midfield, it was actually a really good contest.
Yeah. Well, South Rang's got the Kalpakis brothers, but Montmorency have got the Gillard brothers, Jordan and Braden. And a very proud dad. I reckon he's a bit hard on the boys too. Like, he doesn't take much crap, old man Gillard. So
that's good though.
Brett's a lovely guy. But gee, they both did well. Young Jordan went up from Mark. He tapped Jesus on the arse while he was up there. And if he had taken it, it would have been Mark of the century. But I've seen him do that at Bundoora when he was at Bundoora 19 as well. He's a star. And young Aaron Doyle. Very impressed with him as well.
Absolutely.
They've got so much depth, is my point, Montmorency youth. A lot of depth.
Yeah. And look, it was a cracking game. Like you look at We talked about Divi 2 to Divi 1. If you've seen both grand finals, it was just such a willing grand final.
Super team.
Yeah, they like to win 3 premierships in a day. Like, it just shows the club as it is.
Doesn't happen often.
Monty seriously are the heir apparent, because second, the reserves runners up to Heidelberg, seniors running up to Heidelberg, not disgraced in any way, magnificent football, and I love how they go about it. And they've always been a team that you can rely on. It's just, to be honest, Heidelberg are just 20% better than everyone else in the comp.
Tend to agree. 19s was a great game. I'm not sure if you got down there as well.
I didn't get to get that. I got to see the end of the reserves, and I was there for the senior footy.
Great game. Diamond Creek gave it their all, but just weren't good enough on the day. But credit to getting to the ground. The conditions were slippery for the 19s early as well.
It was magnificent. And it was just the perfect day for football.
I've heard
in the afternoon
a lot of criticism, and I'm looking up something at the same time, but a lot of criticism around Kramer Street has been online on every platform.
And I don't understand it, because the ball bounces true.
I've got to tell you, plenty of great nick, mate.
It was
great.
It takes so much, and for me, it's almost the stomping ground for northern football. In the northern suburbs, like it's your MCG for the northern footy. It was a packed house on the wing. The atmosphere was amazing. As I said, I'm always going to be biased because it's probably my favourite place to play football. I played there for 5 years. And I just love the atmosphere. The people there are great. And the best part of going there is the same people are there. Still. The same volunteers are there. Pates were there. Darcy was there. Blokes that were there 20, 25 years ago when I was there. And it was just a great crowd. And Northern footy is fantastic because you get to see blokes you haven't seen for years. And it was great to catch up. I caught up with Hurstbridge assistant coach, Matty Penn, hadn't seen in a while. Matty Collins from Lorimer. So these guys I don't get to see a lot. And for me, football is everything. And I just love being back in that environment.
I got bailed up early in the 19s game, Bonners, and by this lovely lady who came up and gave me a hug. I'd never met her. And told me how important it was to her son, who was recovering from a broken leg.
And we did get a message from him. So is that Ralph?
No. This is someone different else. So
awesome.
A young fellow.
Big shout out to Ralph.
We're going to speak to Ralph. He's in here in my little comments. But getting back to the 19s, Heidelberg dominated. And the reason I wanted to bring it up was to get the score right. So 11-10-76 in the 19s. And Diamond Creek just couldn't get going, 4-10-34. They fought to the end, though, the Creekers. I give them all the credit in the world. But Heidelberg looked like a bunch of 23-year-olds. Like, they were some big boys, Bonners.
Really, and you saw that in the seniors as well. They're just men. They're just big men. And the young guys are hard, tough. And when you've got those big guys running around, you grow it, know. Like I played years with Shaft and, Cam Eaton, big boys, Grossi, Matty, Carmichael.
You tell me Grossi was soft all the time.
Yeah, he was. It was a big, no, I just said he can't kick proper drop punts. I said, anyone who wants to drop punt on your chest from Grossi, it's a helicopter. I've seen more helicopters than the actual army kid playing football with this bloke.
I want to tell you about the hip and shoulder I've seen. And you probably won't love me to tell you this. In the 19s, so young Hunter Garraway, I'm a big fan of Hunter. He's a great kid. He's a great kid. And he's got a great family. His dad, Ash, is a legend as well. And his brother, Cade, is also a superstar. But I seen Hunter cop a hip and shoulder that if it was like the Rock hit this guy, mate, and he bounced straight back up. I could tell he was pretty winded from it. It was, but he jumped back straight up, and that's finals footy. That's my point. I thought, good on you, Hunter. That's finals footy. You have been cleaned up by a freight train, and you've come in there, which I thought was fantastic. So all the credit in the world to Heidelberg. That started their day, kicking pretty straight. Maybe the 19s coach will give in a couple of years. I don't mean that, Ben. But then we got to the reserves, and the reserves were just a smashing. Heidelberg 11-7-73 beat Montmorency 2-7-19, who just couldn't get going. From the first bounce, it looked there was just some big boys out there, and a few guys that didn't play ones and come down in the twos, which strengthened the living daylights out of that. 54-point win, Bonners. All of a sudden, Heidelberg's day is looking pretty good. I had to leave, and my heart was, Troopers, it'd be good to go home with 3, but it rarely goes that way. Odds would be against you.
Yeah, it was one of those, as I said, you thought Monty gave it their all, but I couldn't, all through the day, I couldn't see them actually.
Look who's thumbs up here. It's the Gladiator. Now, I seen him the other night. He
How
got
good's the picture of? You won't come on here, but you'll get your picture taken.
No, but he didn't speak.
Oh,
If he had a spoke, Rex, if you had a spoken, your Gladiator
Mate,
would have
we
been.
would have been at your front door.
So I was very impressed. He's
Congratulations, goal kicking as
Definitely.
well.
He's a superstar. And
Yep.
he re-signed already for Laylaw next year.
Fantastic.
Could have gone anywhere and taken the cash, but he's
Yep.
done the right thing and stuck fat with his club, which is what it's all about. So then we got to the big game, and obviously it was an absolute domination. How do they kick straight? It would have been 80 points, is the truth.
Yeah.
And that's no
It would
discredit
have been over
to
at half
anybody
time
else.
just because of goal kicking.
So where did we end up here? We ended up,
8-9.
that's three quarters
It was
time.
8-9,
9-19-73 to 4-8-32.
Yeah.
So, hats off to Mont. They fought all the way to really impressed again by the kids that they had in there.
Just
now,
to Bolfo, like you just could
Freak.
not. I reckon if he didn't have 15 intercept marks, I'll go ahead.
he actually
And his kicking was like he's kicking at 55, 60 meters and a left footer. It was actually one of those things that you just love to watch. Like he was just sitting there in awe, hoping that they kicked it to him because he just had the greatest pair of hands.
you have days where it's on a string.
Oh.
He had it on a string.
That
And
was my weekly thing, but yeah.
yeah, mine was on a string from the bench. I was just punch it back out. But I seen that when they said we're going to make the announcement of best on ground, everyone was already patting him on the back. There was no doubt. There was no doubt.
Cinderella, I'll tell you, the top three would have been him. Cinderella would have been second for me, and Lockie would have been third. So Lockie Wilson was just, they got a lot of it, but he was just the one that when the ball went down forward line, it was like
his almost clearance is another level. He reminds me so much of Boomer Harvey, the way
and then if he doesn't get you, Dylan Clark gets you. So it was just pretty
hard to go up against. And congratulations to Heidelberg.
Yep,
they now become the most premiership club in Victoria.
That's awesome.
So that is amazing.
And 3 in a row too. 2 for Vinny, I think.
2 for Vinny.
Yeah, 1 for Nolan.
1 for Nolan before that, and that takes Vinny to 3 with his 1 at West Preston.
Yep.
Possa in his first year as skipper as well. Fantastic.
Jesus, remember?
What's that? Jesus. He had to stand up though, because stepping into Gilmore's shoes and all those guys, that's not easy. And he's done it with these. The boys respect him. We've spoken a lot.
We spoke to him pre-season, and we spoke to Vinny and said it was kind of an easy choice. He demanded the role.
Yeah, and good on him. That's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the 3-peat, you got 19s, you got reserves. They're built for sustained success. There's no doubt about that. I think again they're going to be.
Can we just say though, there wasn't that long ago they didn't have 19s. So the turnabout of, and this is the clubs out there. There is a turnaround. It just takes the right. We've seen the same thing with Hurstbridge. We've seen the same thing with North Heidelberg back on track. We've seen with Banyule, Greensborough. If you have the right things in place, then recovery is pretty quick and you can actually get right in. Diamond Creek are doing the right thing. South Morang, 2 out of 3 just missed out on the 3-peat themselves. So quality football teams, and they'll come into first division and, they'll test themselves as well. So 100%. it is possible. And if you have to go about it the right way, but it's not this 10, 12 years anymore. It's 2-3 years.
Well, the other thing that I wanted to make the comment on is I actually think anybody that made finals could have won it. I know Heidelberg was red hot.
Yeah.
Greensboro showed they were beatable.
Yeah.
North Heidelberg on their day were as good as anyone. Greensboro on their day were as good as anyone. I mean, not too many points separated them and playing in a granny. Hursty, what a fantastic year for the destination.
We have this discussion all the time, but you have to have luck to win a premiership. Some teams just this year haven't had that luck. We spoke about Mernda all year, up and down. I know every team's had injuries, but you look at the quality of these guys, and I agree. It's just you have to have great. You got to have luck.
So, what do you think about Gary's comment here? Heidelberg should test themselves in the VFL.
It's a massive jump.
It is. How big is it though?
It is a massive jump.
If Heidelberg's best side on the best conditions. We spoke about this earlier in the year. They would be competitive, you think, against the bottom 3?
They'd be competitive, but they still wouldn't win.
That big of a difference.
Yeah, it is that big. And watching the game on the weekend.
Good question, guys.
Yeah, it is a great question. If there's any team in Victoria that you sit there and look at, Heidelberg is one of those ones that you look at, and it's because of their program.
Yeah.
it comes back to the program. I could speak all day of how much Vinny's influence on a football club is underrated, but there's other people around him to do it. But you have to still get those people to your club, and they've got quality footballers. And you look at it, as I said yesterday, you've got young youth and you've got older.
One of my statements here I want to make is that it's so much more than Vinny, though.
Yeah, it's a club now.
It's the club.
Yeah.
That committee does an outstanding
so,
job every year. Like, they are one time. If you're looking on how to model your club, and someone sent me something the other day and said, it's easy when you got all the money. You know what? That culture's more than just money. It is. We've been down there. It's more than just money.
Because if you're bringing people in, they come with a 4 or 5 pointer. So you've still got
the juniors are in the Yarra as well. Good juniors coming through the Yarra comp.
Much better comp.
Is it? It's a really good junior comp. I hear so many good things about it.
We used to get spanked by Darwin Valley.
Really?
Don't get me wrong. But look, for me, it's and the other part of this as well, we keep looking past is they played their first 10 games or 8-9 games away. They didn't have a home ground for that long. And I think sometimes that steals you for, we know we're away. We know what the opposition is. But and I'm going to have a massive shout out to Monty, because halfway through the year we were questioning whether they were the second best.
We were, you were.
Yeah, I know I was. And I feel like I had every reason to. But come the back end of the year, they found a way to win last week against Greensborough.
Yes.
And they were they pounded and they pounded and they pounded. But they couldn't get those 2-3 goals in a row to put pressure on Heidelberg after they kicked the point. So
I want to give some credit to Nash Holmes.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, didn't get the chocolates the other day. With the league medal. Suspensions there for a reason. So you're suspended, but outstanding season.
Absolutely.
And an outstanding player. Now, you wanted to talk about commentary.
Oh, look, I want to give a big shout out. I watched the live feed the other night of the thing. I've listened to a couple of the things. I want a big shout out to Nicholas Sacco. I thought what he did, I thought his emceeing the other night was amazing. So
very good.
It was very, very good.
Nicholas, you have that timely pause.
Yeah, it was almost
amazing.
You took probably a second. I'm going to be honest, maybe a second too long.
No, I loved it. I reckon he nailed it.
But I just want a massive shout out to him. I thought he did an amazing job the other night. I sat down and I watched it all the way through.
Yeah.
The way they did the netball, they paid homage to everyone they should have. So, and also the pre-game on the weekend, very, it was that Craig Hutchinson type, role, but just very clear. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. I thought he did an amazing job.
I actually reckon he's done a fantastic job this year, Nicholas, very impressed with him. Now, Bonners, want to talk about a couple of things. You want to go first? You happy for me to go?
I want you to go, but now, Daz. I do have a statement to make.
Righto.
We talk about all the positives on this show.
It's a show of statements tonight, isn't it?
I have been given a negative.
Okay.
So if I may.
Do I have a choice?
No, you do not. Dear Daz and the Northern Footy Show, we love your show. We think you do an amazing job every week for the clubs and the community. We think we have everyone watching every single week. We think everything you do is positive, bar one. Every week.
Is this your mum again?
Every week, our boys get ready to play. They recover well. They go to training Tuesdays, and they're ready to watch the show and excited, only to find out that you have tipped them. You can imagine the disappointment and disarray this puts the boys in.
That's fair.
Because they have now got a 40% less chance of winning the game.
I reckon it's worse than that.
They then take that onto the team on Thursday night, and it depletes them. So we humbly request that you abstain from tipping any team or else a draw to ensure that our boys get an adequate chance of winning each and every year.
Is that Jules Di Sante?
In regards, the wider community of the Northern football.
You know what? It's fair. I'm not sure how many tips I got right this year, but it won't take you too long to work it out. Look, I must admit, other than even the top sides, other than Heidelberg, it was bloody hard to tip this year.
Let me tell you, two coaches that were very happy you didn't choose them.
Yeah. So, well, Jimmy
Fletch was one,
and
then Jimmy was the
Jimmy
other.
made it clear, do not tip me. And Jules did the Sunday, made it. And I nearly changed my tip on South England today, and she said, "You're lucky you didn't."
Yeah.
So she did.
So I just want to put that out. We have to make sure we do the positives and the negatives.
All right, I've got one coming up for you. But here comes Dave Calloway. I've spent a bit of time with Dave just watching him and his young bloke.
This is what I would love to see.
Okay, so what is it? So should there be at the end of the season? Fantastic question, Dave. Is that
Absolutely.
Someone's phone's going off.
You.
Um,
Why don't they have that?
wouldn't it be great to have a super grand final?
No, but just have each league. So maybe the Eastern District Football League play the Diamond Valley each year.
Yeah.
The winner of that plays maybe, and then the Western one's that. So have that 3-year competition. But I just think, why not pit the best against the best?
Who wins that game? Or you just
I just think I haven't seen enough of Keilor, but what I know of Heidelberg and how prepared they are. But as I said, I haven't seen enough of Keilor, but I reckon that would be a fantastic game. The week after a grand final on a Sunday, or I just think you could even do it the next year as a pre-season game.
Yeah.
Say, all right, these two guys play off in a pre-season game 2 weeks before the start of the year.
Yeah.
Let's find out from the year before. I remember us doing that with I remember underage football. We did that.
Really?
We had the competition the year after. It was almost like a lightning premiership. So there's got to be $100 fine. You do it every single week.
I don't know why.
But I completely agree.
Misses. Dinner's under the foil in the oven.
Good on there was no cakes for last day.
No
I'm going to have to chat to her.
Yeah, we would.
But yeah, I think it would be a great concept.
I think you're spot on, Callers. I think it's great. Bodies have been through a fair bit by this point, though. Maybe it's
put a monetary thing on it, though. Like just say the winner gets, have 3 competitions.
Yeah, and get the sponsors.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you can have a day. You can have 2 games on the same day.
Look at Jules. Wasn't me sending in the text, but I agree, dude.
I didn't dob you in, Jules. I did not dob you in. I promise I didn't put your name on the bottom.
There it is. There it is. This can't be positive.
That's what I said.
Have to have a Premier up.
Yeah,
hey, it's taken you to the last game of the season to say something decent, you dill. Yeah. Love it.
I reckon someone's whispered in his ear. They've texted.
Someone's hijacked his
he's actually said it because I've said it. Because he understands.
He
understands how much more intelligent I am than you.
All right, I want to go over something, Bonners. All right.
So do you agree?
I do agree.
You cannot tip anymore.
Absolutely stuck at tipping. If we go again next year, I most certainly will not
and cannot.
I'm just going to host. All right. So I want to tell you something about the show. All right. So because
you don't have to thank me, mate, for making it popular. I just wanted to do it to help you out.
So what we got here, right? So this Bonners and I do this. Let's not read 100% from the statement. Bonners and I do this because we love footy.
Yep.
Right? It's just that simple. And despite the banter, we actually enjoy each other's company. He enjoys mine a bit more. But overall, we have a bit of fun in here. It has been a bloody funny year.
Yeah.
The outtakes we've done and the stupid stuff we've done. The night where we had to edit straight after.
Darcy Wilmot burping.
Darcy burping into it. He turned around and burped into his own microphone. Then we had the lovely girls in and from Thomastown, and we didn't realise the microphones were on.
Yeah,
Kiara was going to punch us up. She was fantastic. And special mention to Kiara because she polled in Division 3 and Division 2 and still nearly got the chocolates. Anyway, so
Michaela too, the dual best and fairest.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah, fantastic from Dymo.
Yeah.
So I just want to shout out to I was put that on my list to do to get back to back best and fairest in the league. It's no mean feat.
What's this one, Gaz? I believe there was an NFNL. So when I played in the Mornington Peninsula League for Edith Vale Aspendale, there was it was Diamond Valley back then.
It doesn't matter, but it's the concept that we're working about. I don't 100%. Care who plays who. You can have a round robin every single year. Good
league, the Peninsula back then, Gaz. No one would have beaten us.
No,
anyway, so all right. So let's talk about our season, and I will read this bit because I want to get it half right. The season of the footy show at the start of the year, I rang Bonners up one day and I said, Bonners, I got an idea. Should we go with it? And he was 100% in instantly. So we've celebrated a pretty good fun year. We've had a ball, haven't we?
Yep.
To be honest, we've had a ball. So we're an independent show. We're not authorised by anyone. So we've achieved some incredible milestones. Let me run through some of these with you, big fellow. We're nearly at 2.1 million. We're literally, a couple of hundred short of 2.1 million views for the year. We now have across TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook 3,000 subscribers. Okay, so 3,000 people have liked or subscribed, they've joined the show.
The crew.
And we deliver free, fair, informative, and a positive feedback to the public. We only promote positive news. Despite these numbers, though, 92% of our viewers aren't yet subscribers. So if you're not, get on and just press the follow button, whatever it is, follow. I'm not good at it.
Not great, are you?
So that's how we got up to 2 million. And again, we're free. And the plan is to always remain free. Over the past 10 months, we've put in approximately, this will break your heart, I added them up, we've done 1,080 hours as a minimum, okay, between us. And that's all free content. We bought our own media equipment. We put in our own time. Even if you just costed this up at minimum wage, Bonners, we're owed about 50 grand. But because it's you and me, we're not paying each other.
We're not worth it.
And we wouldn't change it for the world.
It's not about that.
No, it's definitely not about that. So, and as we said from the start, this isn't about the money. We don't have a bank account registered here. We don't have a registered business for it. We're just two blokes sitting on here with a passion for the game. In the last 24 hours alone, and I love this, we've been overwhelmed with personal thank yous, some posted publicly, some sent to us for messages. Now, one like this from our good mate, Ralph Westlake, who shared that the show helped him get through his hospital stay. Mutsy, Gavin Mutz, we've spoken to a couple of times this year, lives in another state, expressed how important it is for him to be able to keep up with local football here and loves everything about the show. Rhonda Carmichael comments every week.
In there.
She's
knowing
a superstar.
Her, she watches it every week and loves the content.
Jules Tinter Sunday kept us honest all year and wasn't allowed a tip after round 12, I think it was. But she's fantastic and engages with the show. And we get so many people, Sam Rex-Hempy, Danny Whitaker. I love Witz. He's a superstar guy. And the clubs have really got behind it. Now, not all clubs have fully embraced it, but
which is not
our first year. We
the other part too, everyone has the right to choice.
Yeah. Do what you want to do. So why did we start the show? We started it because there was no regular live content, bit of fun, sort of like a front bar, nearly, isn't it? Without, they probably get paid. But anyway, and we don't want to, and it's been fun.
Settle down, Murray.
And we've had tons. Do you want some cash? We paid our own way into games, which is important. We didn't get any special access.
We're no different to every other.
That's it. And so for the 2 million views, I wanted to personally look down the barrel of the camera and say thank you very, very much, because getting behind the show and supporting it, and sometimes it's hard to, get up for the show. We're running around. We both have our own, businesses. We're busy, our own careers, and it's very, very difficult to sometimes make it, but we always do.
Yeah.
Right. So we always do. All right. So what did we achieve through the year that I'm most proud of is we registered ourselves with Are You OK? Displayed the message. I think it's up there today on the screen.
Which is one of the important ones, special for local footy.
Yep.
And just sorry to interrupt again.
No.
But for me, the Are You OK is synonymous with football clubs and netball clubs and all clubs. And every club we have spoken to speaks of the camaraderie, the girls, the boys. They talk about being in that environment. So we as footballers, and I know myself growing up, we need to check on everybody. And I think in a football club now, they do a magnificent job of that.
Yeah.
The camaraderie between the girls, the guys, the junior clubs now, the under-19s, I think football clubs are where the greatest times of my life. And I can tell you right now, even being there on the weekend in the thing, I was that close to chucking the boots on and go and have a crack again. It's the part of football we both missed. Yeah. I'd last 20 minutes with a hammy anyway, so and that's including 15 for the warm-up. But I think that's the part that we miss the most. It's that camaraderie, the great natures, and clubs do a magnificent job. I just think that Clubland now is fantastic. So for those guys, for the Are You OK, I just think the football clubs are amazing.
They were great with us. They got on board. Yep. We explained what the show was about, and they were all over it, and we've pushed it now. Keeping on going. So we have Are You OK? We've discussed mental and physical health throughout the season, Bonners, including a special segment where Sue Stanley and Stephen Smith come and joined us and discussed the ramifications of concussions, trying to educate. It's probably one of the greatest
shows, I reckon. I just think the informative nature and to have someone who's been through it, I thought was just
amazing.
And for them to give up their time, pretty much everyone wants to give information. So a massive shout out to if they're watching for coming on, because the informative nature of that was amazing.
Sam Newman scared the shit out of me. He sat the distance between you and me now. He sat in front of me while I was
and he was fantastic.
And I panicked. But he did spend, as we've said, 45 minutes with us after the show. We were part of, in no way anywhere near as much as all of what they did, but we were part of the $27,000 fundraiser for MND to a massive crowd at Diamond Creek, where we commentated that game.
I didn't realise our commentary was going inside. I thought they just couldn't hear us that well outside. Right. And then when I've gone inside, we loved your commentary. Could you hear us in here? They're like, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was inside. We had some mic problems pretty early, but they sorted them out. That was one of my favourite nights.
That was my favourite as well.
We'll come back to our favourite moments. We've embraced the history of this great game with the Diamond Valley Footy League as well, and I think the tribute to that was when we had at our live grand final show was having 31 yesteryear players there. All talking, hadn't caught up for 10, 15 years. And
they were there to 10 o'clock.
It was fair. It was a lot later than that, I've been told. But and we've celebrated men's and women's footy, talked a bit about 19s. Now, we don't talk about juniors. I got asked yesterday why we don't talk about juniors is because they're minors.
Yeah.
And we can't. There's just
without parental.
Some litigation and stuff.
No, it's not even that. We wouldn't do anything without parental consent.
Yep, I think we did. We had a couple of the kids on with the Diamond Creek night.
But the parents were there.
The parents were there, and we got the all clear. So at the end of the day, I want to finish with this before we start talking about our favourite moments. Before we wrap up for the year, the final time is we are volunteers.
Yep,
we don't get paid for it. We don't want to get paid for it. When I get messages of what we've achieved with people being in hospital, leg, people being sick, I missed your show. Matty Dennis told me that he can't catch it live, but he puts it on at work the next morning and listens to it every day. He goes, what a great way for me to be involved with where I played a majority of my footy. When people say that to you, it's really heartwarming that in my opinion, we're making that little difference.
I think from the final series we've had that. I reckon I spoke to at least 40 or 50 people and they just said, we love it. Blokes, as I said, I hadn't seen in ages who watched the show. So the actual viewership, I couldn't be more thankful. And just to be honest, it's two blokes just knock around. So to enjoy what we say is good fun.
So a couple of other things. Had two other leagues, one country league, reach out during the year asking how we go about the show and all of that, which was great. And we've given them some feedback, and they're doing a pilot. And then the Diamond Valley Cricket Association, through a couple of superstars on their board, reached out to us and said, love what you do for the community. How do we do this? And all the credit to Grant and the lads down there in Callum. The show's up and running. I think they've had around about 15,000, 16,000 hits in the first couple of podcasts. Might be more now since I've spoken to them. We are here to connect community. So I want to be real.
For me, that's what it's about. Like, this is community football. And I think that you shine a light on it. And the comp do a fantastic job shining a light on it. But just it doesn't hurt to have that little bit of extra to try and get people to games, to highlight things that people.
Not everyone can get to games.
And it is tough. And the live feeds are fantastic. As I said, Nick does a great job when he's commentary and stuff like that.
Finals,
but it just doesn't hurt to have that little bit extra to get people to a game, get some information, a little bit on Clubland as well. So,
we will see. So overall, I think I've had an absolute ball. Now, let's finish up the season with this. This is our last show, and I don't have to see you for a few months, which is fantastic. Tell me, Bonners, what was your favourite part of the year? And you can't say Diamond Creek because I've already said it. You got to give me something that was really fun that you jumped in the car when you left here and had a bit of a giggle.
I'll be honest with you. I think the night we did at Ivanhoe was probably my favourite. I thought the actual
Pete Rawley's a legend.
Yeah, the actual club itself, and with Schultzy, the boys, everyone was willing. The girls came and had a chat. We had a kick. The highest viewing audience was me getting smacked in the back of the head, which I think 20,000 were my family.
Were watching that. 48,000.
Yeah, so for blokes who are just starting off to get that reception from such an amazing club, just joined the competition, I may add.
Yeah,
that would be one of the highlights. Having Motti here was great, just as a Brisbane man.
Yeah.
And also too, our first night with Nipper. I came in very casual. We hadn't done anything other than stuff up the week before.
Yeah, we had no idea.
Look, there's so many. It's really tough to pick them.
Yeah.
But for me, the Ivanhoe night really set the scene for what we were trying to achieve.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on. Firstly, a few things that shocked me throughout. A few things that shocked me. I didn't realise. I won't swear. Don't hate me for this, JD. I didn't realise how short JD was and how tall Deacon was. Now, I've seen Deacon play with Brandon under 17s, and he was a powerhouse. But he's gone from boy to man.
Yeah.
And watching guys grow Bonners through the season, and then when they came in a little bit shy, I think my favourite thing this year has been Lincoln Coffey.
Yep.
Right, and Joel Harris.
Yep.
I love them both. We couldn't get them on camera for love or money, but then couldn't get them off.
Yeah,
and I think one thing we I'll take a bit of credit for as us, not as me, is what we've done is we're trying to give these kids some media training. Some of these kids are going to go on, right, and how else are you going to get that media training sitting in front of a mic having fun? We've offered this room out, our studio out for clubs that want to utilise it for their own thing. We are here for the betterment of local football from a community perspective. A couple of things coming in here. Let me have a look. Peter Westbury, what do a cow? What's that?
My baby cows.
Oh,
I don't know. They reckon they're too big to be called calves.
Sorry,
they've been known.
I'm a bit slow, mate.
They've been known to be called baby cows, and that's Mick Peters who started that rubbish.
And here's one from Watsy. Congratulations, lads, on a fantastic first year of the Northern Footy Show. You've built such a great concept that really resonates with the people of the northern suburbs. It's been awesome to the great community get behind the show and relate to stories you're sharing. Keep up the great work. Here's some. Thank you very much for that, Watsy. It's amazing.
And spoke to actually Anthony McGregor the other day. So he was great person to have at the Realm. Did an amazing job at Reservoir when they were struggling. Got them back out. Got them in pretty much just out of finals. So really great to Watsy. A fantastic hiring.
I want to thank Jessica because at the start of the year when we had no idea what we're doing, Jessica sat behind the desk here and yelled at you a lot. Didn't yell at me too much, mainly you. And we wouldn't have got the show going with that. And all of the guests that came on throughout the year.
Absolutely.
And not only the guests, the people that have interacted with us here.
Yeah.
It's been a stellar year. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work and we've loved it. And we'll see where we head from there. We've both got a lot to consider here moving forward. Now, Bonners, parting comments before we wrap up the season, and you don't have to see me for a while.
I'll be honest, mate. When someone leaves a message on your phone saying, "I've got something to talk to you about," it's never actually. I tell you what, it took me probably half a day to ring you back because I'm not really sure what's coming from. I hadn't spoken to you for probably about 6 months, so to get something like that, but to be here a year later. I've had fun. Sienna's been involved. My daughter's been involved.
Of course, she's been amazing. Yes, well done.
And just to get out there, get back in the local community. It's amazing. Like I've got my Brisbane top eye, and I can't be happier for them to play a grand final. But I'll be honest with you, to be part of local footy again, which I've missed, was amazing.
Yeah, so. I agree. Well, from Bonners, myself, Kira, Olivia, Sienna, Jessica. I don't know if we've missed someone else. Elmsy, definitely. I'm really proud of what we've achieved. What's that?
Brian as well.
Brian, yeah. I'm really proud of what we've achieved. We've given it 100%. Even up to the last show, we can't get the bloody internet right.
I told you, don't touch it.
But from all of us, thank you so much for tuning in. let's hope we see you next year. And until then, keep kicking goals.